In April 2010, a man was rushed into a government hospital in New Delhi. His body was covered in strange, blackened patches, as if something inside him was burning its way out. His skin peeled, reports showing that the outer layers of the stomach having reddish patches, rupturing, and cells of the stomach killing itself. Doctors examined him, but puzzled. It didn't look like any infection they had seen. At first, they dismissed it as an isolated case. But within days, more men were admitted, each carrying the same haunting signs. Black marks spreading across their skin. And then, one doctor noticed something unusual in the pattern. The burns were not like burns from fire. The sickness was not like sickness from infection. These men had touched something that should never be touched. Panic rising in his chest, he ran to the nearest telephone booth. With trembling hands, he dialed a number few ever think of calling. The National Disaster Response Force.
The Indian Atomic Energy Regulator have been searching for radioactive sources.
Cases are reported for radioactive sickening the local hospitals.
Cases are reported for radioactive sickening the local hospitals.
But how did it all begin? It started when a strange device, large enough to crush and extract heavy metals, arrived at a scrapyard in Mayapuri, a city near Delhi. To the misfortune of everyone who would come into contact with it, this was no ordinary machine. It was a gamma cell. This particular gamma cell, a Category 1 model GC220, had a core designed like a cylindrical cage. It could hold up to 48 pencils, but in this case, 16 were loaded inside. The entire core was shielded by nearly 3 tons of lead. Each pencil contained 7 cobalt-60 radioactive slugs and a couple of dummy spacers. In total, there were 112 radioactive slugs, together emitting an astonishing 147 terabecquerels of radiation. The gamma cell's deadly journey began in the shop of Ajay Jain, who dismantled it and passed it to Deepak Jain. He broke it down further and handed it over to Rajendra Prasad, who ended up with the most dangerous piece of all, the core. Rajendra managed to extract the pencils and, from them, the shining cobalt-60 slugs, small, metallic, and deceptively beautiful. Believing he had found something precious and valuable, Rajendra kept some in his garage, some in his home, and fatally, one inside his wallet. For 3 days he carried it in his pocket, unaware that it was silently destroying him from within. Soon the consequences began to unfold. Rajendra, along with others involved in dismantling the device, and even workers in the scrapyard, started experiencing alarming symptoms. Severe hair loss, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, headaches, and crushing fatigue. But Rajendra's condition was the worst. The slug in his pocket caused black, burning patches across his skin. His stomach lining began to disintegrate as his own cells turned against him. When local hospitals began reporting these mysterious cases, authorities were alerted. The National Disaster Response Force quickly stepped in. Together, they sealed off the scrapyard streets, moving shop by shop, searching for the invisible killer, the cobalt-60 slugs that had already unleashed India's worst radiation accident. Soon, ARB officers rushed to Mayapuri with radiation detectors. What they found shocked everyone. The area was sealed. Shops were scanned one by one. At the entrance of a scrap shop, radiation spiked to 10 to 15 millisieverts per hour. At the rear of the same shop, it jumped to 20 millisieverts per hour. And inside another shop, nearly 300 meters away, the detectors screamed at 15 to 45 millisieverts per hour. Radiation wasn't just present, it was everywhere. It was April 8th, 2010. Emergency action began. The team arrived with radiation monitors, isotope identifiers, protective suits, decontamination kits, and shielded flasks to hold the deadly material. Finally, the isotope was confirmed. Cobalt-60. The recovery operations begin. From April 8th to 9th, in a tense overnight mission, experts recovered 4 radioactive pencil sources, 3 gunny bags, and 1 drum of radioactive scrap. All of it was safely transported to an authorized facility. But the danger wasn't over. Between April 13th and 14th, more radioactive materials surfaced. The team found 1 pencil source, a 25-centimeter cylindrical source cage still holding a pencil, and another drum of radioactive scrap. The operation stretched late into the night and ended only in the early hours of April 14th. Then came the most chilling discovery of all. Between April 16th and 17th, a single Cobalt-60 slug was found, hidden inside a wallet. Using remote tongs, the deadly piece was sealed inside a shielded flask and taken away. Finally, the truck was loaded with contaminated materials ready to depart, headed straight for the authorized waste disposal facility for further investigation and safe disposal. Layers of contaminated soil were carefully collected, sealed, and sent away for safe disposal. Every single scrap was checked again and again to ensure no trace of contaminated metal or material was left behind. The affected shop was concretized with a thick 3-inch layer. Contaminated scraps were scanned thoroughly, then dispatched for safe disposal. Even the roads near the shop were concretized after decontamination. But now, it was no longer just about cleanup. It was about investigation. Autoradiography inspection revealed a chilling fact. The source appeared to have originated from a gamma chamber. But how did a gamma chamber end up in a scrapyard? Investigators discovered something more alarming. The dimensions of the source pencils were completely different from what's usually produced in India. This sparked heated debates among higher authorities, even in Parliament. Fingers pointed in every direction, some suspecting careless waste imports, others blaming domestic mishandling. After weeks of questioning victims of radiation exposure, something crucial emerged. When shown photographs of gamma cells, one victim recognized the object. He revealed that such a device had been cut open by a scrap dealer in Mayapuri. The dealer was quickly identified, and under interrogation, the most shocking truth surfaced. The gamma cell had reached the scrapyard through an auction by a local university, a grave act of negligence in waste disposal that posed a massive threat to citizens. The university faced strict sanctions from the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board, but the question remained, was that punishment enough for the havoc already created and for the catastrophe that could have been unleashed due to their sheer negligence?